Welcome back to English in Fluency. I am so happy to see you here today. I am your host, Alex, and today we have a very special lesson that I think is going to change the way you listen to English forever. Have you ever been in a situation where you know every single word in a sentence when you read it on paper, but the moment a native speaker says it, it just sounds like a long, messy blur of sound? You feel lost, you feel frustrated, and you think maybe you just need to learn more vocabulary. But what if I told you that you do not need more words? What if the problem is not your vocabulary, but the music of the language itself? Today, we are going to unlock the secret to understanding natural speech by looking at something called weak forms. This is a B1 level lesson, but even advanced students sometimes miss this, so stay focused and get ready to train your ears. To understand weak forms, we first have to understand how English works as a stress-timed language. This means that we only clearly pronounce the words that carry the important meaning. The content words like nouns, main verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. These are the stars of the show. But what about the other words? The little words that glue the sentence together, like prepositions, articles, pronouns, and auxiliary verbs. In natural speech, these words are the supporting actors, and they often take a back seat. They become quiet, short, and sometimes almost disappear. This is what we call a weak form. When you read a sentence like, "I am going to the store," you might pronounce every word clearly, but a native speaker would rarely say it that way. They would squeeze the little words together to create a rhythm. If you are listening for the strong, clear versions of these small words, you are going to miss them because they are not there. They have changed shape. So, our goal today is to recognize these shapes when you hear them. Let's start with the most common sound in the English language, the schwa. This is the lazy sound that looks like an upside-down E in the phonetic alphabet. It sounds like a very short Many weak forms turn into this sound. Take the word to. When we say to as part of an infinitive verb, like to go, or when it shows direction, we rarely say the strong form to with a long oo sound. Instead, we say to. So, I want to go becomes I want to go. It happens so fast that the T might even blend into the previous word. Listen to the difference between I have time and time to go. In time to go, the word to is not stressed. It is just a quick bridge between time and go. Now, let's look at the word for. You know this word. It means a purpose or a length of time. But in a sentence, it changes. Imagine you are waiting for a friend. You might say, "This is for you," but often it sounds like fear. This is fear you. The or sound shrinks down to a simple sound. If you are listening for, you might miss fur. You have to train your brain to hear that lazy sound and understand it represents the word for. We will practice this a lot today because this is the key to unlocking fluency. Another very common word that changes is and. We use and all day long to connect ideas. In its strong form, it rhymes with sand or hand. But have you noticed that in fast speech, it often sounds like or just a quick n? Think about a list of items. Bread and butter sounds like bread and butter. Fish and chips sounds like fish and chips. The D and the A disappear, and we are left with just the linking sound. If you are trying to hear and, you might be confused. But if you listen for the linking in sound, you will understand. This is not lazy speaking, it is efficient speaking. It allows us to flow from one thought to the next without stopping. Let's bring in a couple of characters to help us practice. We will listen to a conversation between two friends, Leo and Sarah. They are planning a weekend trip. As you listen to their dialogue in your mind, imagine you are standing next to them in a coffee shop. Do not worry if you do not catch every word at first. Leo asks Sarah a question. He says, "Are you going to the park on Saturday?" Now, let's break that down. A learner might hear, "Are you going to the park on Saturday?" But Leo, a native speaker, says, "Are you going to the park on Saturday?" Did you hear the changes? To became to, the became thu, and Saturday lost a syllable. You even shortened to ya. This is natural speech. Sarah replies, "I think so, but I have to work first." Here, so is strong, work is strong, but to is weak again. I have to work. She does not say, "I have to work." She is focused on the action, working. The grammar word to is just a connector. If you can hear to and instantly know it means to, you are understanding the sentence structure without needing to analyze every syllable. This is the secret to fluency. It is about predicting what comes next based on the rhythm. We also need to talk about the word at. When we talk about time or place, at becomes ut. See you at 5 sounds like see you at 5. Meet me at the station becomes meet me at the station. The vowel sound changes from a sharp a to a schwa u. It is softer, shorter. If you are waiting to hear the strong a sound, you might miss the connection entirely. You might hear see you 5 and wonder where the preposition went. But your brain needs to fill in the gap. You know we meet at a time, so when you hear ut, your brain translates it for you. Let's try another example with our friends. Leo says, "We can walk to the river." A listener might hear, "We can walk to the river." The word can is interesting here. Because it is an auxiliary verb helping the main verb walk, it is usually weak. We can walk sounds like we can walk. The a in can disappears into the schwa. However, if Leo was emphasizing his ability, like no one else can do it, but we can, then he would pronounce it strongly. We can. But in a normal statement like we can walk, it is weak. This distinction is crucial. Stressed can versus unstressed can. Most of the time, in natural conversation, it is unstressed. Now, think about the word of. This is one of the most common words in English, and it almost always has a weak form. We say a cup of tea, but it sounds like a cup oo tea. A piece of cake becomes a piece oo cake. The V sound might even disappear, turning into just a schwa sound connecting the two nouns. A lot of time sounds like a lot of time. If you try to pronounce the of clearly, like a lot of time, it will sound robotic and unnatural. To understand natural speech, you must accept that of is rarely of. It is a. Let's listen to Sarah again. She says, "It is a bit of a walk." Imagine she says, "It's a bit of a walk." The is contracts to s, of becomes a, and the article a is just a schwa. The only strong words here are bit and walk. These carry the meaning. It is a bit of a walk is just a structure holding these two important words. When you focus on the content words, the meaning becomes clear even if the grammar words are whispered. This is how native speakers listen. We do not catch every letter. We catch the rhythm and the stressed words. I want you to try saying this sentence with me, focusing on making the small words weak. I need to go to the shop. Try it. I need to go to the shop. Feel how your mouth barely moves for to and thee. Your energy is on need and go and shop. The small words just slide out. This is the feeling of fluency. It is not about speaking fast. It is about knowing which words to emphasize and which words to glide over. When you speak like this, you will find it easier to understand others because you are mimicking the natural rhythm of the language. Let's look at another very common pair, from and them. From often sounds like Ephraim. You drop the O sound entirely. I am coming from home sounds like I'm coming Ephraim home. Them often changes to M or Give them to me becomes give 'em to me. Tell them I said hello becomes tell 'em I said hello. If you are listening for the strong them sound, you might miss it, but M is everywhere. It is a short, quick sound that carries the meaning of the object pronoun. Imagine Leo and Sarah are discussing their friends. Leo says, "Did you see them?" In fast speech, this is, "Did you see 'em?" Did might sound like did or did if he is surprised, but usually it is did. You becomes ya. Them becomes em. The sentence is a stream of sound. Did you see 'em? It almost blends into one word. This is called connected speech. Words bump into each other and share sounds. Recognizing weak forms is the first step to decoding this stream. Now, let's talk about as. When we compare things, as becomes uz. As good as becomes uz, good uz. As soon as possible becomes uz soon, uz possible. The sound shifts from the sharp A to the soft It makes the sentence flow smoothly. If you say as good as with 3 strong A sounds, it sounds choppy. As good as. But uz good uz creates a nice rhythm. This is the music of English. You are learning to be a musician, not just a reader. I want to take a moment to reassure you. This feels difficult at first. You have spent years reading English where every word is equal on the page. But spoken English is not equal. It is a hierarchy. The kings and queens are the nouns and verbs. The servants are the prepositions and articles. The servants do the hard work in the background, often unseen and unheard. But they are essential. You just have to learn to hear their whispers. Let's practice with a longer story segment. Imagine Leo is telling Sarah about his day. He says, "I woke up at 7 and had a cup of coffee. Then I walked to the bus stop, but the bus was late, so I had to wait for 20 minutes. Now, let's translate that into natural speech with weak forms. I woke up at 7 and had a cup of coffee. Then I walked to the bus stop, but the bus was late, so I had to wait for 20 minutes. Do you hear the difference? At is ut, and is un, a is of is to is to, the is thu, if for is affair. The strong words are woke, 7 was had, cup, coffee, it walked, yada bus, stop, ya late, yada wait, ya 20, yada minutes. If you only heard those strong words, you could probably guess the story. Woke 7, had coffee, walked bus stop, bus late, wait 20 minutes. You get the whole picture. The weak forms just provide the grammatical glue. So, your task right now is simply to listen. Do not try to catch every word. Listen to any English audio, a podcast, a movie, or a song, and try to identify the strong words. Ignore the weak sounds. Just let them wash over you. Focus on the rhythm. Da, 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 da. Try to feel the beat. When you stop stressing about the small words, you will realize that the big words give you all the information you need. This is a huge mental shift. It takes time, but you can do it. You are training your ear to hear the music, not just the notes. We have covered some of the most common weak forms today. To, for, and, at, of, from, them, and as. These appear in almost every conversation. By being aware of their weak versions, you are going to start noticing them everywhere. It is like buying a red car. Suddenly, you see red cars everywhere on the road. You will start hearing fur instead of for, and to instead of to. And when you hear them, you won't be confused anymore. You will smile because you know the secret code. As we move forward, remember that understanding natural speech is a journey. It is not about perfection. It is about progress. Every time you recognize a weak form, you are winning. You are becoming a better listener. You are becoming more fluent. So, be patient with yourself. Keep practicing, keep listening, and keep smiling. English is a beautiful language, full of rhythm and melody. Enjoy the process of discovering its hidden sounds. Now, we are going to go even deeper. We are going to look at the verbs and pronouns that hold our sentences together. These are the words that you probably think you know well, but when a native speaker uses them in conversation, they might sound completely different. Are you ready to unlock the next level of your listening skills? Let's get started. One of the biggest challenges for B1 learners is understanding auxiliary verbs. These are the helper verbs like be, have, and do. We use them to make questions, negatives, and continuous tenses. In writing, they are clear, but in speaking, they are often swallowed. Take the verb to be. Consider the sentence, she is working. A native speaker rarely says, she is working. We contract it to she's working. But often, even the S is so soft, it sounds like just a continuation of the vowel. She's working. It almost blends into one sound, but it gets even more interesting with R. You know the word R, but have you ever heard it sound like or just R? We are going becomes we're going, which sounds like we're going. You are my friend becomes you're my friend, or you're my friend. The A sound disappears completely. If someone asks, how are you? They might say, how are you? Or how are ya? The R is not a strong word. It is a bridge. It connects how to you. You must listen for the connection, not the word itself. If you are waiting to hear the clear R sound, you might miss the question entirely. Let's check in with our friends Leo and Sarah again. They are still talking about their weekend. Sarah asks, what are we doing later? Now, say that in your head clearly. What are we doing later? But in natural speech, it sounds like, what are we doing later? Or even, what are we doing later? The three words, what are we, can blend together into a smooth sound. The strong word here is doing. That is the action. That is where the energy goes. What are we doing later? The what are we is just the setup. It is weak. It is fast. It is quiet. Now, let's look at the verb have. This is a chameleon. It changes its form depending on the word before it. In the present perfect tense, like I have finished, we usually say I've finished. The have becomes just a V sound attached to I. I've. You have eaten becomes you've eaten or you've eaten. But often, in very casual speech, the V might disappear too, leaving just a vowel sound or a glottal stop. I finished. It is subtle. It requires a sharp ear. When have is a main verb meaning possession, it is often strong. I have a car. But when it is an auxiliary, it is almost always weak. I have been there becomes I've been there. Wait, did you hear that? Been changes too. Been is not pronounced bean like the vegetable. In weak form, it is been. It rhymes with pin. This is a huge one. I have been waiting sounds like I've been waiting. She has been working sounds like she's been working. If you are listening for been, you will not understand. You must listen for been. This is one of the most common mistakes learners make, so pay close attention to that sound. Let's try a dialogue practice. Imagine Leo says, I have been to that restaurant before. Listen closely. I've been to that restaurant before. To becomes to. Been becomes been. Have becomes I've. The only strong words are been, restaurant, and before. Actually, restaurant is long, but before carries the timing. The sentence flows like a river. The rocks in the river are the strong words. The water flowing around them are the weak forms. You want to ride the water, not crash into the rocks. Now, let's talk about do. In questions and negatives, do is often weak. Do you like coffee? Sounds like do ya like coffee or ju like coffee. The do and you blend together to form dia or j. This is incredibly common. Do ya want to come? Do ya need help? If you separate them, do you like? It sounds robotic. You have to blend them. Do ya. It is one smooth movement of the mouth. Similarly, does becomes do's, or just z, blending with the subject. What does he do? Sounds like what does he do? The s on does connects to he. What does he do? It is a rapid sequence of sounds. The strong word is the last do because it is the main verb. The auxiliary does is weak. It is just there to make the question work. Your brain knows it is a question, so you do not need to hear does clearly to understand the grammar. You just need to catch the main action. What about did? Did often turns into a quick D sound when it is followed by you. Did you go? Becomes did ya go? Or did ya go? It sounds like the word jij, or just dia. Where did you buy that? Where did ya buy that? Did you see her? Did ya see her? Again, the auxiliary did is weak. The main verb buy or see is strong. This is the consistent pattern of English stress. Grammar words are weak, meaning words are strong. Once you accept this rule, listening becomes much easier. Let's move on to pronouns. You might think pronouns like he, she, it, and they are always pronounced clearly. They are not. When they are the subject of a sentence, they are often weak. He is here becomes he, ze here. The he is short. She is happy becomes she, ze happy. It is good becomes it, ze good. But the really interesting changes happen when he, she, we, and they are followed by a consonant sound, especially in connected speech. Consider the word her. It is a pronoun and an object. Give her the book. In natural speech, this often becomes give her the book. The H disappears. We call this H dropping. I saw her yesterday becomes I saw her yesterday. Tell her I called becomes tell her I called. The word her turns into just a vowel sound, If you are listening for the echo H, you will miss it. You have to listen for the context. You know you are telling a person, so the sound must mean her. The same happens with him. Give him the pen becomes give him the pen. The H drops. I saw him becomes I saw him. With him becomes with him. It sounds like the word im without the H. I went with him to the store. Again, context is king. You would not say, I went with stem, so im must be him. Now, think about them. We touched on this earlier, but it fits here too. Give them to them. The first them might be strong as the subject, but the second them is the object. Give 'em to 'em. It sounds like give 'em to 'em. Your brain separates the sounds based on the position in the sentence. This is why listening is not just about hearing sounds. It is about processing grammar and logic in real time. Let's listen to a slightly faster interaction between Leo and Sarah. Leo says, "I told her to call him." Now, let's say that naturally. I told her to call him. To becomes to. Her loses the H and becomes Him loses the H and becomes im. The sentence is a string of weak sounds connecting the strong verbs told and call. I told her to call him. That rhythm is vital. If you tap your hand on the table, you tap on told and call. The other words just slide by. What about the word us? Let us go is usually let's go. But when we use us as an object, like come with us, it often sounds like come with us. The vowel sound shortens, but sometimes in phrases like one of us, it sounds like one o' us. The of becomes weak, and us connects to it. He told us a story becomes he told us a story. The a connects to us. This seamless connection is what makes English sound fluid. There are no gaps between words. The end of one word is the beginning of the next. Now, let's tackle that. As a conjunction or a relative pronoun, that is almost always weak. I think that he is nice. We rarely say the that. We say, I think he is nice. The that disappears completely. The book that I read becomes the book I read. I know that you are busy becomes I know you're busy. If you are trying to hear that, you will be waiting forever. You have to understand that native speakers often skip these small grammar words entirely when they are not essential for meaning. Imagine Sarah says, "The movie that we saw was great." Listen to the natural version. The movie we saw was great. That is gone. We is weak. Was becomes was. The strong words are movie, saw, and great. The movie we saw was great. That is the skeleton of the sentence. The rest is just flesh. You can understand the sentence perfectly even without the that. This is a relief for learners. You do not need to hear every word to get the meaning. Let's look at than in comparisons. Better than you. We do not say than with a strong A. We say then. Better than you. More than that becomes more than that. It sounds exactly like the time word then. You have to use the context to know if someone is talking about time or comparison. It is bigger than I thought. Context tells you it is a comparison, so then means than. I want to give you a specific practice exercise right now. I am going to say a sentence in my natural voice, and I want you to try to write down the strong words you hear. Okay, here we go. I was going to ask her for the key, but she said she didn't have it. Pause for a moment. What were the strong words? Was, going, ask, key, she, said, didn't, have, it. The weak words were to, her, for, the, but, she. I was going to ask her for the key, but she said she didn't have it. Did you notice how didn't might be strong? Negatives are usually strong because they carry important meaning. I didn't do it. Didn't is stressed. So, auxiliary verbs in the negative are an exception. They keep their strength. I don't know. She hasn't come. We weren't there. The negative part carries the stress. This brings us to an important point. Weak forms are used for unstressed words. If we want to emphasize a word for contrast, we use the strong form. For example, if I say, "The gift is for you, not for me," then I will pronounce for strongly. For you, for me. But normally, it's for me is it's for me. So you have to listen for the speaker's intent. Are they contrasting something? If not, assume the small word is weak. This ability to predict is what makes you a fluent listener. Let's revisit our characters for a final complex example in this section. Leo says, I would have told you, but I thought you knew. This is a mouthful of weak forms. I would have becomes I woulda, or I'd have. I would have told you, but I thought becomes but I thought. You knew becomes you knew. I would have told you, but I thought you knew. The strong words are told, thought, knew. I would have told you, but I thought you knew. The grammar is compressed into tiny sounds. Woulda is the combination of would and have. This is a very common sound in American and British English alike. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. You must recognize these as should have, could have, would have. They are not slang. They are just natural, connected speech with weak forms. To practice this, I want you to take a short audio clip from a native speaker, maybe 30 seconds long. Listen to it 5 times. The first time, just try to get the general idea. The second time, try to identify the weak forms. Can you hear to becoming to? Can you hear her losing the H? The third time, try to repeat only the strong words, ignoring the weak ones. See if you can still understand the message. The fourth time, try to write down the full sentence, including the weak forms as best you can. And the fifth time, listen and read along with your transcript. Compare what you wrote with what you hear. This active listening is the fastest way to retrain your brain. Remember, do not be discouraged if this feels overwhelming. Your brain is used to reading English where every sound is represented by a letter. Spoken English is different. It is fluid, efficient, and sometimes messy. But it is also beautiful and rhythmic. You are learning to appreciate the music of the language. Every weak form you recognize is like learning a new chord on the guitar. Soon, you will be playing along with the song of conversation effortlessly. Now, we are going to synthesize everything we have learned. We will listen to a longer, more natural conversation and dissect it piece by piece. This is where the magic happens, where you start to see how all these individual sounds come together to create fluent, natural speech. Are you ready to become a master listener? Let's dive into our final story. We rejoin our friends, Leo and Sarah. They have decided to go to the park for a picnic. This scenario is perfect for practicing everyday English. I am going to tell you a short paragraph of their story first, reading it somewhat slowly and clearly so you can see the text in your mind. Then I will read it again at a natural speed, exactly how a native speaker would say it to a friend. Your job is to notice the weak forms we have studied. Here is the scene. Leo and Sarah are sitting on the grass. Leo is unpacking the food. He looks at Sarah and says, I hope you are hungry. I have made some sandwiches, and there is a cake for dessert. Now, let's translate that into natural speech. Leo says, I hope you're hungry. I've made some sandwiches, and there's a cake for dessert. Let's break that down. Hope is strong. You are becomes you're. Hungry is strong. I have becomes I've. Made is strong. Some is often weak, sounding like SESM. Sandwiches is strong. And becomes un. There is becomes there's. A becomes a. Cake is strong. For becomes fur. Dessert is strong. The rhythm is da 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 da. The weak words are just the filler. The meaning is all in the strong words. Hope, hungry, made, sandwiches, cake, dessert. Sarah replies, It looks delicious. I am starving because I did not eat breakfast. Now, naturally, she says, It looks delicious. I'm starving because I didn't eat breakfast. It is short. Looks and delicious are strong. I am contracts to I'm. Starving is strong. Because is a long word, but in casual speech, it often shortens to cause. I didn't is strong because of the negative. Eat is strong. Breakfast is strong. I'm starving because I didn't eat breakfast. The sentence is driven by the stressed words. The weak forms cause and I'm just facilitate the grammar. Notice the word because. It is a function word, a connector, so it often gets weak or shortened. We might say because with a schwa or just cause. I did it 'cause I wanted to. To here is to. I did it 'cause I wanted to. This is very common in storytelling and conversation. If you can recognize cause as because, you will follow the story much better. Let's continue. Leo takes a bite of a sandwich and says, "This is the best sandwich I have ever had." Natural speech. This is the best sandwich I've ever had. This is okay, but is weak, linking to the. Best is strong. Sandwich is strong. I have becomes I've. Ever is strong. Had is strong. This is the best sandwich I've ever had. The is and the blend together. This is the. It sounds like one long word. This is linking in action. The end of is connects to the start of the. Sarah laughs and says, "Do you want to go for a walk after we eat?" Natural speech. Do you want to go for a walk after we eat? Do you blends to dia. Want to blends to wanna. This is a classic weak form combination. Want to almost never remains two separate words in speech. It becomes wanna. Go is strong. For becomes fur. A becomes a. Walk is strong. After is strong. We is weak. Eat is strong. Do you want to go for a walk after we eat? The rhythm is bouncy and energetic. Wanna is not just slang, it is the natural result of weak forms. Want is the strong word. To is the weak word. When you say want quickly, your tongue is already in position for the T, and the to just follows as to or a. Wanna. Similarly, going to becomes gonna. I am going to go becomes I'm gonna go. Gotta is got to. I have got to go is I've gotta go. These are essential contractions for listening. If you hear gonna, do not look for the word going and to separately in your dictionary. Look for going to. Leo nods and says, "Yes, that would be nice. I need to walk off this food." Natural speech. Yes, that'd be nice. I need to walk off this food. That would contracts to that'd. Be is weak. Nice is strong. I is short. Need is strong. To is to. Walk is strong. Off is strong. This is short. Food is strong. Yes, that'd be nice. I need to walk off this food. The D in that'd connects smoothly to be. That DB. It is a soft sound. Now, let's look at some short questions and social phrases, because these are where weak forms are most aggressive. When you meet someone, you might say, "How are you doing?" We covered this, but let's look at what do you do? This is a very common question. In natural speech, it is what you do or what do you do? The three words collapse into one. What are you doing becomes what you doing. This is what are you doing compressed. What are you up to becomes what you up to. If you hear whatcha, translate it to what are you. Another polite phrase is would you like? This becomes would you like? Would you like a coffee? Would you like some tea? Would you covers would you. It is a quick sliding sound. Would ya? Practice saying it. Would ya like it? It flows so much better than would you like it? This is the sound of politeness in English. It is soft and indirect because the auxiliary verbs are weak. What about can I have? This often becomes can I have? Or can I have? Can I have a cup of tea? Can I have a cup of tea? The A in can disappears. We only use the strong can if we are really asking for permission seriously, like, can I go to the bathroom? But for asking for things politely, can is weak. Can I have? Let's listen to a slightly more complex part of Leo and Sarah's story. They finish eating and stand up. Leo says, I should have brought a blanket. The grass is a bit damp. Natural speech. I should have brought a blanket. The grass is a bit damp. Should have becomes shoulda. Brought is strong. A is a. Blanket is strong. The is the. Grass is strong. Is weak. A is a. Bit is strong. Damp is strong. I should have brought a blanket. The grass is a bit damp. Did you hear how grass is became grass is? The S sound attaches to grass. This is how we link words. Sarah replies, it does not matter. We can sit on the bench over there. Natural speech. It doesn't matter. We needn't sit on the bench over there. Does not contracts to doesn't, and the negative stress is on doesn't. Matter is strong. We is weak. Can becomes can. Sit is strong. On becomes un. The becomes thu. Bench is strong. Over is strong. There is strong. It doesn't matter. We none sit thu bench over there. Even though can is weak, we know it is there because sit is the base verb. I want to highlight the word matter. In negative sentences, matter is often the word we stress to say something is not important. It doesn't matter. No matter. But the it and doesn't, except for the ent, are weak. The focus is on the meaning. This is true for almost all communication. We focus on the new information, the content. The old information, the grammatical structure, is weak. Let's try one final, longer exchange that brings everything together. Leo and Sarah are walking. Leo asks, do you think we will have time to see the lake? Natural speech. Do ya think we'll have time to see the lake? Do you is dia. Think is strong. We will contracts to will. Have is weak or medium. Time is strong. To is tu. See is strong. The is thu. Lake is strong. Do you think we'll have time to see thu lake? Sarah answers, we should if we walk fast. Natural speech. We should if we walk fast. Should is strong here as an opinion. If is weak. We is weak. Walk is strong. Fast is strong. We should if we walk fast. The rhythm is clear. Even though if we are weak words, they are necessary for the condition, but they don't need volume. As they walk, Leo says, I am glad we came out today. It is beautiful. Natural. I'm glad we came out today. It's beautiful. I am is I'm. Glad is strong. We is weak. Came is strong. Out is strong. Today is strong. It is it's. Beautiful is strong. I'm glad we came out today. It's beautiful. The sentences are balanced, a few strong words carrying the emotion and the fact, surrounded by a cloud of weak grammatical words. So, what have we learned from Leo and Sarah? We have learned that English is not a code where every letter represents a sound. It is a stream of energy. The energy goes into the words that matter, the actions, the descriptions, the feelings. The grammatical words are the conduits for that energy, and they shrink to allow the energy to flow through. By recognizing these weak forms, t, fur, im, shoulda, wanna, gun, you stop fighting the current and start swimming with it. You no longer need to translate every sound back to a textbook word in your head. You can hear wanna and understand want to instantly. You can hear shoulda and understand should have. This instantaneous processing is what defines fluency. It is not about how many words you know. It is about how quickly you can decode the sounds you hear. To wrap up this section, I want to give you one final challenge. Go out into the real world, or turn on a movie, and do not try to understand everything. Just try to count the weak forms. Every time you hear a to instead of to, count it. Every time you hear instead of her, count it. Make it a game. By focusing on the weak forms, you will surprisingly start to understand the strong words better, because your brain is not cluttered with trying to make sense of the grammar. You are letting the grammar be the background music, and the lyrics are the content words. Now, we are going to push your listening skills even further. We are going to look at two advanced concepts that often confuse B1 learners: elision, which is when sounds disappear completely, and intrusion, which is when we add sounds that are not written down. This is the final layer of the secret code that will help you understand movies, news, and real conversations without struggling. So, open your ears and your mind, and let's unlock the final secrets of fluent listening. To understand elision, imagine a crowded room. When too many people try to walk through a narrow door at the same time, some people have to wait outside or squeeze through quickly. Sounds in English work the same way. When we have too many consonant sounds together, our mouths get tired. To make speaking easier and faster, we simply drop a sound. This is elision. It is not lazy, it is efficient. One of the most common places this happens is with the letter T or D in the middle of a word when it is between two other consonants. Take the word next. You might say next, but in a phrase like next day, many native speakers drop the T. It becomes next day. Similarly, friends often loses the D sound, becoming friends. Hands becomes Hans. We do this because moving from N to D to S in hands takes too much effort. We just glide from the N to the S. This is why you might hear someone say, "I have 5 hands," instead of 5 hands. If you are listening for the D, you will be confused. But if you listen for the context, you know they are talking about hands. Let's introduce 2 new characters to help us practice this. Let's meet Ben and Chloe. They are colleagues working in a busy office. They are rushing to finish a project. Listen to what Ben says. "I need to send the email." Now, let's say that with elision. I need to send the email. But often, the D in need connects to the T in to, and we might not hear a distinct D sound. It sounds like I need to, or even I need to. The D is swallowed. This happens constantly. Old friend becomes old friend. Good morning becomes goo morning. The D vanishes. Chloe replies, "Don't worry, we have time." Here, don't often loses the T at the end, becoming Don. Don worry. The T is swallowed by the WW, and have is weak, we've. Don worry, we've time. This smooth flow is much faster than saying every consonant. As a listener, you must fill in the blanks. When you hear Don worry, your brain should automatically insert the T. You know the grammar, so you know the word is don't. Another very common form of elision is the glottal stop. This is when we replace a T sound with a little stop of air, like a tiny cough. We do this with words like button, mountain, or kitten. We do not say but-ton, we say buen. The T is replaced by a stop. In British English, this happens a lot with T at the end of words too. Get out might sound like get out. In American English, it might sound like a D, gay dude. But the key takeaway for listening is that the sharp T sound is often not there. It is either softened, turned into a D, or replaced by a stop. If you are waiting for a crisp T, you might miss the word entirely. Now let's talk about intrusion. This is the opposite of elision. Sometimes we add a sound that is not written in the text to help words flow together smoothly. The most common intrusive sound is the J sound, like the Y in yellow. This happens when a word ends in T or D, and the next word begins with you or your. We blend the two sounds together. For example, meet you does not sound like meet you. It sounds like me chew. The T and Y combine to make a chi-h sound. This is called coalescence. Let's listen to Ben and Chloe again. Ben asks, "Did you see the file?" In natural speech, this is, "Did you see the file?" Did ends with a D, and you starts with a Y. They crash into each other to make a J sound. Did you? Similarly, would you help becomes would you help? Don't you know becomes don't ya know? This is a huge key to understanding natural questions. If you hear don't ya, do not look for a word cha. It is simply don't you. Chloe answers, "Yes, I will send it to you." Here, send it might flow, but to you becomes tuju, or even tiju. I will send it tiju. The T from to and the Y from you make the E-chi sound. Send it tiju. It sounds like one long word. This is why English sounds so fast to learners. We are sticking words together with glue that you cannot see on paper. You have to hear the glue. There is another type of intrusion involving the R sound. In many accents, especially British and Australian English, but also in some American dialects, we add an R sound to connect two vowels. This is called the intrusive R. For example, the phrase law and order. The word law ends with a vowel sound, and starts with a vowel. To make it smoother, we add an R, law R and order. Media event becomes media R event. We do not write it, but we say it. This helps the speech flow without stopping. Imagine Ben says, "I saw it." If he says it slowly, it is, "I saw it." But quickly, the W sound might turn into a U sound, and he might say, "I saw it." The R connects saw to it. In American English, this is standard linking. Saw it, arrow, saw it. Far away, arrow, far away. The R at the end of far connects to away. This linking R is essential. If you try to say far away with a break, it sounds robotic. Far away is the natural way. Let's practice a longer dialogue between Ben and Chloe using these concepts. They are discussing a difficult client. Ben says he is impossible to work with. Natural speech. He's impossible to work with. Notice impossible. The li at the end is often just a weak ul sound. Impossible. And to work becomes to work. Chloe says, "Don't give up. We can try again." Don't give up. We now try again. Give up links perfectly because E and U are vowels. We might slide. Give up. The V flows right into the up. Ben sighs and says, "I sent him an email yesterday." I sent him an email yesterday. Sent ends with T. Him starts with H. Often, the H drops and the T blends. I sent him. An becomes un. Email is strong. Yesterday is strong. I sent him an email yesterday. The focus is on the action and the time. The grammar words him and an are weak and changed. I want to focus for a moment on the phrase sent him. This is a great example of elision and assimilation working together. The T in sent wants to connect to the vowel sound in him, since the H is dropped. but a T between two vowels often sounds like a D in American English. So sent him sounds like send him. Can you hear that? Send him. It is much softer than sent him. If you are listening for the sharp T, you won't find it. You will hear a D sound or just a soft flap. This is the flap T rule. Water sounds like waiter. Better sounds like better. Letter sounds like letter. Chloe then asks, "What did he say?" What did he say? Or even, what did he say? The T in what and the D in did are right next to each other. We don't say both. We just make one sound. What did? It blends into what did. He is weak. Say is strong. What did he say? This is why questions can be so hard. The beginning of the question is often a blurry cluster of consonants. Now, let's look at some common social phrases where these rules apply. How do you do? In a very formal introduction, this is said, but often it sounds like how do you do or how'd you do. Nice to meet you becomes nice to meet you. See you later becomes see ya later. Later has that flap T sounding like later. What do you think becomes what do ya think? These phrases are the building blocks of conversation, and they are never pronounced as written. Let's try a challenging sentence. I told you not to do that. Say it clearly. I told you not to do that. Now say it naturally. I told you not to do that. Told you becomes told ya. Not to becomes no to. Do that becomes do that-y. The sentence is a chain of linked sounds. I told you no to do that-y. The strong words are told, not, do, that. The rest is a smooth ride. Imagine Ben and Chloe are leaving the office. Ben says, "Are you going to the party tonight?" Natural speech. You going to the party tonight? To before night might lose the oo sound and just be a quick connector. Or it might sound like tonight. Party is strong. Tonight is strong. You going to the party tonight? The rhythm is distinct. The grammar is compressed. Chloe says, I might go, but I have a lot of work. I might go, but I've a lot of work. Might and go are strong. But is a conjunction, often weak. But. I have becomes I've. A becomes a. Lot of becomes lot of. Work is strong. I might go, but I've a lot of work. Even with all the weak forms, the meaning is crystal clear because of the stress on go, lot, and work. Let's discuss a very common feature of spoken English. Filler words. These are words like ah, like, and you know. While they are not grammar words, they often act as weak forms. They take up space, but give the speaker time to think. It was, like, really good. The word like here is weak. It is just a bridge. You know what I mean? You know is often, you know. These fillers are part of the natural rhythm. Do not let them distract you. They are just noise. Focus on the content words around them. Ben might say, the client is a bit difficult. The client is a bit difficult. Difficult often reduces to difficult. Dropping the I and the cul becomes cool. Difficult. The sounds are just fillers. Client, bit, difficult are the important words. If you filter out the you still understand the message perfectly. To practice these advanced skills, I want you to try shadowing. This is when you listen to a native speaker and repeat what they say immediately, exactly as they say it. Do not wait for them to finish the sentence. Mimic their sounds, their speed, and their weak forms. If they say wanna, you say wanna. If they say did ya, you say did ya. This trains your mouth to make these sounds naturally, which in turn trains your ear to hear them. It is a powerful technique for B1 learners wanting to reach the next level. Let's do one final story segment with Ben and Chloe to wrap up this complex topic. They are walking out of the building. Ben says, "I need a coffee." "I need a coffee." Chloe says, "There is a shop around the corner." "There's a shop round the corner." Around the often becomes round the. The A in around drops. Ben asks, "Do you want to come?" "Do ya want to come?" Chloe replies, "No, I have to go home." "No, I've to go home." In that short exchange, we had weak forms for A, there is, around the, do you, want to, have to, I've to. Every single auxiliary and preposition was weak. The strong words were need, coffee, shop, corner, come, go, home. That is it. 7 strong words. But the sentence sounded like a lot more. That is the magic of English fluency. You pack a lot of grammar into a small space, allowing the meaning to shine through. So, as we finish this lesson, remember that listening is an active sport. You cannot just passively hear the sounds. You have to engage with them. You have to predict where the weak forms will be. You have to look for the strong words like a miner looking for gold. The rocks and dirt are the weak forms and the elided sounds. You have to sift through them to find the gold. You have now learned about the schwa, weak forms of prepositions and articles, auxiliary verbs, pronouns, elision, and intrusion. That is a massive amount of information. Do not feel overwhelmed if you cannot master it all in one day. Come back to these lessons. Listen to them again. Practice with Ben and Chloe. The more you expose yourself to natural speech, the more these patterns will become second nature. I am Alex, and I have loved sharing this extended listening masterclass with you. You have the tools now. You know the secrets. The only thing left to do is practice. Go out there, listen to English, and don't get frustrated when you miss a word. Ask yourself, was that a weak form? Did they drop a sound? Analyze what you hear. Be a detective of the language. Thank you for watching English in Fluency. If you enjoyed this comprehensive lesson, please let me know in the comments below. Tell me which weak form is the hardest for you to hear. Is it them becoming M? Or to becoming to? Or maybe the J sound in did you? I love reading your comments. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a lesson. Keep listening, keep smiling, and keep fluency growing. See you in the next video.